All right, everybody. Let me tell the world we are online. Welcome to the Entrepreneur Hour. Today is my first show based on the needs of the MetaBronx youth. If you don't know who I am, my name is Miguel Sanchez. I help entrepreneurs and investors profit from innovation. And I also run a nonprofit called MetaBronx. And this summer, we have about 325 youth that we are introducing to the innovation economy. And by doing that, they immediately want to know how to start their own businesses, right? Online. So I planned on showing them what I did and what I do. And we have a bunch of mentors that are helping. But I also figured, why not help them with what I'm calling the New Hood Lemonade Stand, which is an online store. There's also another thing that a lot of them want to do, which is create games. So at the same time, I'm creating a game with my group and anyone else interested in the MetaBronx cohort. So I have my guest here right now, a Maudie's Bronx native. I know you're setting up shop. A Maud.
Yeah. What's up, buddy?
So basically, I wanted to catch up with you, see what's going on. I know you had an interesting
Yes.
pre-summer, I guess. And
Yes.
you've been on the show if anybody has seen you, but
Mm-hmm.
um a few reasons I'm having you on. One, I
Yeah.
want to catch up, see how you doing. And then two, a lot of the MetaBronx youth have been interested in creating online stores or clothing brands in general. And I wanted you to give them some of your insights as the Bronx native, the guy everywhere, and we go from there. So to start it off, tell everybody
Yeah.
who you are, what you do, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah. So, what's up, everyone? My name is Amaudis Grujong, a creative and social entrepreneur based in the South Bronx, man. Um, I am a co-founder and CEO of a brand called Bronx Native. Bronx Native is the brand that embodies what the Bronx truly is. I was born and raised here in the Boogie Down Bronx, and my whole life I've heard negative things about my home. And I decided to do something about it. I decided to change the narrative, to change the stigma, to show people what the Bronx is truly about through art, media, apparel, events, and more. So through Bronx Native, we have a creative ecosystem that allows us to do just that. We make Bronx-based merchandise that identifies who we are, merchandise that captures the history, the culture, everything that we are about. Merchandise that inspires, that empowers, that has a message. We started it about 3 years ago, end of 2015, early 2016. And like I said, we were always meant to be a community-based brand. We always wanted we saw a problem in the market, and that problem was that there was no Bronx-based merchandise. I was looking online one day and I said, I want to wear a hat that says the BX. I want to have a shirt that represents who I am. And I couldn't find nothing. I couldn't find merchandise that identified who we are. All I saw was Brooklyn merch, Manhattan merch, this and that. And I said, how is this possible? The Bronx, this incredible borough with an incredible history, birthplace of so many incredible things like hip hop, salsa, doo-wop. The story of our people. It's a story of the world. It's the story of adversity. Is it the of hustlers, of survivors, of creating everything out of nothing. And I think that's really beautiful, and we try to capture that in our merchandise and everything we do. So we created Bronx Native just for that, right? Me as a graphic designer, just content creator. My sister, which is co-founder, is a fashion design student. So we said, you know what? We have the skill sets, we have the passion, we have the dream. We're gonna create Bronx merchandise, but always knowing that that was going to be the beginning of the creative ecosystem. We do things in the music industry, literature industry. We have a shop that we utilize as a cultural hub for expression and networking. We work with a lot of businesses, local businesses here in the Bronx, and also bigger businesses like Red Bull, Netflix, HBO. We've collaborated with many individuals, and like I said, we're trying to put the Bronx on the map through apparel, art, media, all that good stuff, social platforms, everything, man. So that's a little summary,
That's good.
Bronx native, and who I am, I guess. Yeah.
That's good. That's good. I've known you since even before you've launched this brand, right? So
Yes.
what I
Yes.
want you to do for the young people in MetaBronx specifically, and anyone watching that wants to do what you are doing, um, put yourself back before you started, right?
Yeah.
What what advice would you give yourself if you had the experience that you just got in the past 3 years? How would you start thinking about your clothing brand if you were about to start today?
Yeah, so of course, every day is a learning process. I learn things every day, so don't be afraid of that, and always be willing, have that openness, ask questions, be a sponge, right? Because you don't know everything. I don't know everything. It's a million things out there, right? So for me, if I were to go back now and be like, hey, Brody, before you start this, here's a couple of tips from your future self. I would definitely, for me, it was Bronx Native started mostly like a passion project, right? It was for me, it was a creative outlet. It was a way of me to connect my creativity with my community, right? And that's amazing, right? I think that's beautiful, right? To give back with your art, with your mediums, and just everything, right? But and this is a good but Bronx Native became sustainable, right? Was making money. We were selling merchandise at a decent pace. I mean, it grew faster than what we intended to.
Expected.
And with money, that phrase, with more money, more problems.
The first entrepreneur lesson.
you know,
What
you know
happens when you
what
have too much money?
Facts. When you don't have money, you're like, damn, bro, how can more money be more problem, bro? I'm gonna be late. I'm gonna get this money. But best believe, with more money comes more problems. And it was just, how do we now look at Bronx Native not like a creative outlet, not like a passion project, but now how do we look at Bronx Native as a business, right? And that was always tough for me, because me coming from the creative field,
Yep.
and wanting to express myself as an artist and stuff. I didn't know all the ins and outs, right? The bookkeeping, the accounting, the this, the sales tax, the rent, the blah blah blah, and it kept going up, going up. So if I were to say something to my younger self, I'll say, before you start Bronx Native, before you start creating and putting out shirts and just going ham, please create a solid business foundation first, right? Get your documents ready. You know, get
Which
everything you need.
documents would you say they should get ready first? Because
Ah,
again, we're treating this like the new hood lemonade stand, right? We want to teach them business. They may not all end up making clothing lines, but they should understand business, right? So what are the key documents you would say?
number one is just write everything down, document everything, right? How much does it cost you, right? How much are you selling it for? And just keep a track of that. Okay, I've spent I sold 10 of these shirts. It's costing me $5 to make. I'm selling them for that. Just have that all documented, because best believe, once it
As
gets
the
to that
numbers
level,
grow,
you're not gonna want to start. You're not gonna want to start. So just start from the jump.
start from the
And
bottom.
then, yeah, because what happened to me is just like, I'm selling like 1,100 shirts, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not trying to start this now. I should have started it
How
before.
much?
Definitely, and connect with people that compliment you, that have the skill sets that you don't have. Definitely, what documents? Definitely. when it comes to LLC, figure out what's the best route. LLC, Inc., C Corp, all of those things. Make sure all your LLC things are set. When you start something in New York, you have to put it on the newspaper. You got to promote it on this. You got to do
Yeah,
this and
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah,
Do
yeah.
not let those little things slide, right?
Yeah.
Because you might be like, I don't need that. That's fine. Da da da. No, stop. It's these little things are going to matter in the future. So please just pay attention. We tend to pay attention a lot more to the fun thing. Not saying that numbers is not fun, this and that. But for the most part, general opinion. You know what I mean? The
Yeah.
creative, the art is fun. You're out there, blah blah blah, and we tend to forget about the numbers, the sales tax. That's a big thing. Every 4 months, make sure you're taking out the sales tax or you're going to owe to the IRS. You know what I mean? Get yourself a good accountant, a good bookkeeper, legal, right? That's another thing. Make sure your things are copyrighted, trademark. Make sure, before you sign anything, you got somebody reading it. So it's
Yeah.
just a lot of little things that I'm just I'm skimming
No,
the
no, no.
heads of
This is
it.
good stuff. This is good
There's a
stuff.
bunch of things here, and just don't let those things pass, because it's going to come to a level. If you really want this, and if you're really going to make this a vibe, it's going to be a business with money coming in, right?
Yeah.
So just solidify a nice business foundation. Okay, I'm good. I'm documenting. I got an accountant. I got this and that. I got it. I got it. Now I can start putting them out. I can start doing this, and best believe that's going to be very beneficial for you in the future. So that's me coming to you, young. I'm talking to myself as a little kid. Stop it. You know, get your business
They
stuff
say a little kid
situated.
3 years ago, but
3 years ago.
but definitely. All right. So anybody watching right now who knows anybody who's been ever interested in creating a clothing line, I would share this for them to watch, because I've been speaking to Amadis pretty much for all 3 years, and I've seen all the hurdles, and some of them I told them were gonna happen before they happen. But sometimes you gotta see them yourself to deal with them, right?
Facts,
So
facts, 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 facts.
part of what I want to do is there's a lot, like I said, in MetaBronx this summer. Almost, I would say at least 80% of the kids were like participants, were like, yeah, I would like to make a business, and I would like to make an online business, right? So this stuff you're talking about helps me to understand what kind of stuff I should be showing them, because I forget too, right? Like
Yeah.
where the starting point is for something like you're doing, because it's not my main business. So that's good. So okay. One of the reasons I think your brand is so powerful is because you have tried to create a community, and
Mhm.
even down to your location, your store, it's more of a community hub than a shop. Can you talk to the young people and anybody watching again about how to look at a brand as a community instead of just a logo on a shirt?
Yeah. Definitely. I think that's one of the most important things about the brand, in a way, right? Is that we are tapped into the community. We have that direct line to the community, and everything we do is community based. From the jump, I did not want to just create a hat with a cool design and like, okay, here, buy it. You know what I mean? Here, similar to like Supreme, like that, the hype. I wanted to create design that had social impact, design that can create social change. And that was always a key element for us. And I think that's just, not everyone is the same. Somebody just is a graphic designer. They want to put out cool design, and that's fine. Do your thing. Everyone has their own angle. Everyone's different, this and that. For me, I wanted to make a difference in my community. I wanted to make a difference, a statement with my merchandise, right? And that's exactly what we did. And I believe that when you do that, when you connect a good design with community and social change, it makes it that much more powerful, right? And I've seen that firsthand. Um, where people have bought our merchandise, maybe because they're not, they might not be from the Bronx, they might, but because they hear our story, they hear the narrative, they hear what we're doing, and all the change, they buy it because they support the brand, they support the mission. And I think that's one of the most incredible. I think for me, Bronx Native is so special to me is because it connects three things for me, right? It's number one is I'm creating as an artist. I'm able to express myself through different mediums, design, apparel, media, creating experiences, this and that, right? Number two, sustainability, right? People are buying the merchandise. People are attracted to it. They're buying it in the shop, online, this and that. And number three is the social change aspect, right? We're able to make a difference with our clothing. And those three things together, community, art, creativity, and entrepreneurship, are what is my passion. Is everything I do, right?
Makes
So,
sense.
so yeah, always, even if you don't have, I mean, if you don't have the heart for community, or all those things, do you in the end of the day. But we all have things that we're passionate about, right? It could be
Sure.
climate change, it could be the environment, the animals, our people, Black Lives Matter, this and that, right? We all have certain things, and maybe, try to attach yourself to one of those social elements. Try to make a difference. Don't just slap a logo on the shirt. Hey, I'm trying to buy, trying to sell, trying to,
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Try
100%.
to do more. Try to push the envelope. Try to do as much as you can with your merchandise, right? Imagine if instead of just a hat with a logo, I can have a hat that has a logo that has a statement, right? Starts a conversation. The proceeds go to, so, percentage of the proceeds go to something. The hat is connected, and just look at it as a whole. Don't look at it as one item, one design. Boom. Look at it as like, how can I push the envelope with this hat, right? How can I do the most? And that's what we do on everything we do. We do the most, man, and it pays off. It's just like that. That's what I do, and what just want to continue. That's what we're gonna continue doing.
So the two things I take out of that I think most people need to understand is one, storytelling, right?
Yeah,
You have to basically, a brand is a story that
yeah,
people buy into, right? So if you are creating a brand, you're creating a story. Bronx Native's brand, he explained it to you. He grew up in the Bronx. All he will hear is negative things from external forces, but internally, he knew it was not as bad of a place as people make it out to be. So he
yes,
created the narrative to say, look, I'm going to show you the good parts of the Bronx and
yeah,
why the Bronx is the best place, whatever, right? His narrative is. So if you're going to create a brand, what is that for you, right? Like, what is that for your brand? So that's first thing. The second thing about the community is you want to attach that story to a community that cares about it. So that's what Bronx Native has done very, very well because he's connected to people from the Bronx, right? So if you're from the Bronx, you feel what the same story that Amaudi's said, you feel the same way. So you're going to rock that hat, that shirt to promote the same story that Amaudi's is creating, right? So that's kind of the core of a brand in the way, right? There's a story and there's people who connect with it, and you have to find them in as many ways as possible. And by creating a community, they basically come to you, right? So by you creating all this stuff, the spoken word, the music,
yeah,
bringing people who care about your story to you, and then a few of them will buy some merch. And the more your community grows, the more your sales grow. So that's kind of where I really want to make sure anyone angling towards making a clothing line, that's the big miss I see all the time. They just want to put a logo and think people are gonna want to buy it.
yeah.
Like
And let
nobody
me
cares
let
about
I
your
want to
logo.
just talk about, even besides the brand and T-shirts and stuff, just design, right? I went to Bronx Community College as I got my associates in design. Then I went to the School of Visual Arts, got my bachelor's in design and film. And one of the things that throughout is don't create just to create, right? create with a mission, with a story, everything, create a concept, before you create the actual visual. Why is this red, right? Why is this, why is this like this? Why is this on a trucker hat, right? Why did we decide to put the Yankee, and like fire next to it? Why is this, so always question everything. Good design has an answer for everything, right? It's not like, oh yeah, I just made it purple because I like purple. You know what I mean? I remember once in the very beginning when I started designing, I put something together and they were like, okay, why is this like? Oh, because I like it, because I like it.
I thought it looked good. That's why.
Because I like red. And then it was like, what? It's just like, why are you doing this? It's just like because you like it. No, that doesn't have. It's just like you have to.
But
have
what you're saying is there's a story to every single
there's
design.
a story. You gotta have a story to everything, or it's not gonna hit. It's not gonna be like, okay, this is cool, but like, what's the concept? What is the how do you say that? The context, the yeah, but it's blank. It's just like an empty vessel.
I'm gonna give you an example of that because this happened between me and Amaudi's, right? One day I walk into the shop and he has these new Bronx Land shirts.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's cool. And he's like, do you know the story behind that? And I'm like, nah. And he's like, Bronx Land was the name of the Bronx based on, I forgot the story. But I was like,
say it?
yeah, say the story.
No, so in the dude who bought the Bronx in 1639, his name was Jonas Bronx, right? So he bought the land, which is the Bronx, and at the time they used to call it Bronx Land because it was his land. It was just like he bought the land. It was his plan to, he had his farm, whatever. And it was just Bronx Land, and I was like, yo, that's pretty lit, Bronx Land. And then we connected it to at the time I went to Disneyland in California, and we saw this design that they had, and it said Disneyland with the D blah blah. And I said, bro, what if we put Bronx Land, BX and with the same design element. So it was a great marriage between great design, great story, and that's what we strive on, and also a pop cultural element to it because Disneyland, this and that. So when you connect all those things that connect with the history, good design, pop cultural element, the past, this and that, I think that's the best. You're
100%. When you told me that, I was like, I bet you money most people don't know that. So I was like, you need to tell that story because now that piece of clothing jumped a million times into more interest to me, let alone anyone else. So like that was one of the key times that I really realized you do it a lot, but in conversation that me and you have, that one specifically, I was like, wow, that's really cool. Disneyland, yup, that makes sense. Bronx Land, the story, that makes sense. The font being the Disney font, all that.
Yeah, and real quick, what I noticed was just a lot of my stuff has just come organically, like where it just happens. I'm like, oh shit, this is lit, What happened was that everyone that was coming in, I was sharing the story. Like, hey, you guys want to know why we put Bronx Land and thing? And what happened was that literally 8 to 9 times out of the 10 times that I said the story, they bought the shirt, they bought the sweater. And then I was like, first of all, I was like, damn, bro, I'm a good ass salesman, bro. What the hell? I'm lit, bro. But second of all, I was like, I saw a pattern, right? And I said, bro, people are buying this because of the story, and this and that sparked another. It's like, okay, how can I continue to duplicate this, right? How can I continue to tell stories, to connect all these dots, and to sell more shirts and sell more merch?
100%. And I think I had told you that day, you need to make a video explaining this because I think you'll sell a lot of these if people on social media understood that story. Because the way you just said it, people walked into your store, you told me a story. Online, though, the way they walk into your store is through social media at first, right? So telling that story on social media drives them to your store to buy it online. So that's a key thing to understand for anyone about to start any kind of brand. All right, so talk to me about where post-COVID you see, if you were about to start right now post-COVID, what will be different about the way you started before?
So I mean, to be honest, we started through Instagram. You know, that was our first platform. We didn't even have a website yet. It was like, yo, we're gonna start promoting the brand awareness. Bronx Native is on Instagram, right? So number one off the bat, social media is free, right? I tell everyone we're living in the best time to be alive. We have all of these things that we can use. Social media, use it, man. I tell everyone if
To
we have
create a community, right?
yeah,
You
so we
create a community.
started creating that the easiest, freest way as possible. Social media, right? And like I tell everyone, use it, use it, use it. It is free. All your friends and family is already on it, and the world is on it, right? And now they have all of these things for businesses and this and that that help. We just got on TikTok, by the way, Brody. I'm gonna be honest. I wasn't gonna be able to do all of that because that thing is hella elaborate, bro. Like you literally gotta edit, like it's mad stuff. So we have a girl who she's helping us with TikTok and
Nice.
stuff. And so follow us on TikTok at the Bronx Native. You're in the vibes.
Nice.
We started with Instagram, then we got a website, and we got an online store. One thing that was special about us in the start was that we were popping up everywhere, right? We decided to go to every single Bronx cultural event or any event that we could go, right? To brand awareness. Like, hey, Bronx Native. Even though we didn't have no merch, we had no shirts.
Oh wow.
We were going out there with a sticker and a business card. Hey,
For
we're
real?
Bronx Native. We're Bronx Native.
Wow.
Yeah, we're Bronx Native.
That's
Hey,
pretty
we're gonna
that's
make
pretty
shirts one
interesting.
day. We're Bronx Native.
That's
So we were
pretty
just doing
interesting.
that, getting connected, and just meeting with everyone too. And I think that was I've met you before, Bronx Native, but I still had that same I still had that same sentiment that like, yo, I'm gonna connect with people that I'm interested in that have other skill sets that are in different fields, but when connected to what I'm doing, can elevate whatever I'm doing, or this and that. And I remember I connected with you. We met up, we chatted for a little bit. So we connected with. So that's a little different now, right? Post COVID, the events are a little
Oh yeah, that
less,
makes a lot of
this and
sense.
that. So that can hurt a little bit.
Yeah.
I want to say is I don't want to give it a 50-50, but 40%, but 60 of it was online presence. You know what I mean? 60, 70, 5% was us on social going ham, right?
Yep. Yep.
And I was posting and to this day, I post every day, 3 to 4 times a day on Instagram posts. Instagram stories, forget about it. I'm there
You're like
every
a
five
thousand of
minutes,
those.
every 5 minutes, right? And it's just about interactivity, engaging with your audience, answering the comments, doing that legwork, DMs and this and that, and just cultivating that community. Yes, I'm here. Yes, we're Bronx Native. What's up? Oh, yes, we're doing. Oh, let's collab. Let's talk. Let's do this and that. Just being active every single day, right?
Makes sense.
And I
Makes
think
sense.
I think we have even a bigger opportunity now post COVID. Now that even though the world was already going more into a virtual world, e-commerce, this and that, now we were kind of just pushed more into it. You know what I mean? Because of
Yep.
COVID, and
Yep.
everyone's figuring out ways of how to. I mean, everyone's had to restructure their business. All the big guys, all the people with the big, uh, companies, big overheads, big this, or hundreds of employees, they're hurting, right?
Yep.
People and actually smaller businesses, from what I see, are excelling a little better now because they didn't have all the overhead, they didn't have all of this, but they had community, they had a small following that now, because of all the injustice, Black Lives Matter, this and that, all the big corporations, all cancel, people are leading towards smaller businesses, right? Businesses of color, businesses that,
Yep.
that that
Stories.
have a
Stories of
story, that
color,
have a
right?
mission. Huh?
Stories of color. Like now, there's an
Yeah, yeah.
opportunity to create a brand around stories of color for sure.
So this is the best time to start something, with a cause, with a mission,
Hmm.
with a story, and just put it out there and just every day just put in the work. But this is a great time for that.
So
Yeah.
that's one of the main things I tell people when I talk about your brand is you put in a ridiculous amount of work on the marketing side. You're everywhere when we could have been everywhere. Now, and you were doing social media at a level of a cadence that was like really on it. Like you were doing, like you said, back then you probably were doing even more. You were probably doing like 10 things a day. I would see you everywhere, in person and online. And that's why I was like, man, but he doesn't have an online store. He's really missing the opportunity of online.
Mhm.
So that's when we started working together. And now I'm in every conversation of almost everything happening in the Bronx. And I hear your name almost in every conversation, right? Oh, I'm working with Amaudis on this. I'm working with Amaudis. I'm working with Bronx Native, right? So that's the kind of situation where you've embedded yourself in the community for a brand that is for the community. So
Mhm.
now people want to support you. So talk about what you did this summer, because pre-summer, it was a tough time with COVID, right? So talk to the people about what you did, and because of your community, you might have survived COVID because of your community,
Mhm.
right? Talk about what happened.
Definitely. Um, excuse me. Yeah, man. So 2020 was extremely tough, bro. One of the and we've spoken about it already. And I think for a lot of people, one of the toughest time for me, toughest couple months, 6 months, basically from the beginning, because even before COVID, we weren't doing too well, right? And you already know this. I'm not gonna get too into it, but we opened up a second store. It was too much. It was beautiful. It was great. But it was
Hey,
just
what lesson did you learn? Because maybe other people
yeah.
can learn. Yeah,
I've learned that even though something could look incredible and it could be an amazing opportunity, don't just you know just think a little bit before you go.
run
I'm a
run the
very
numbers.
ambitious. uh,
Run the numbers. I
yeah, yeah,
remember. I remember
run the
having.
numbers. It comes back down when you get to a certain level. It stops being about the creative. It stops being about the art. I'm that's it's sad, but I'm that's the true honest. Even for me, I have a hard time balancing that because I'm doing so much business stuff and
Mhm.
quote unquote business stuff, and running around in meetings and like proposals and documents and stuff like that, that I don't have time for the creative a lot, which is, I'm gonna be honest, it's a little sad, but
No,
that's
I
what
get
you
it.
have,
I,
you
I
know.
I think it happens to every entrepreneur. It's not just creatives, right? Because we come into a business doing the most entrepreneurs come into a business as a skilled person in that industry. You make the business, then you got to pull yourself away from that skill to run the business.
Mhm.
Right? So that's what you're talking about, the creative.
Yeah,
Because I feel the same way with my tech business. I want to be doing
yeah.
good
Facts,
things, but
facts.
I can't. Right? I got to manage people. So that is a point where you get, and that's a good thing because once you get past that, then you can still create an environment where you get to do what you want. But you need to create that infrastructure to support you. Right? So go ahead. What other Go ahead. I know I cut you off.
Yeah, so I don't regret, like I said, I don't regret anything. We had that space from June 1st, 2019 to June 1st, 2020. It was year. It was amazing. The concept was amazing. Like I said, I'm not gonna get into it right now because a real long story. But what was I? Okay, so that put us in a kind of position where two rents, employees, me spreading myself thin into two shops, trying to make the other one pop, and then disregarding our first one and seeing that one kind of diminish and not getting the same traction in the second one. So it was just like that kind of vibe. It was a circle. We were just going down a hole. Blah, 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 blah. And then in 2020, we said, you know what? Indefinitely, we're gonna close the second one, and I'm gonna come back to my roots. I'm gonna take a step back, right? In the past, I used to be in the original shop in our flagship store every single day, right? Just building that up, building the community, selling the merch, interacting with the people, just going ham.
Mhm,
And in the
mhm.
beginning of 2020, like I said, to be honest, we were not doing too well financially. We were not doing, and you already know this, right? I was hitting you. I was like, Brody, I need help. Well, I can't. And it was bad. I'm gonna be honest. It was an extremely tough time you know, not having money to buy merchandise, not having money for the rent, not having money for this, right? So I said, you know what? Let me take a step back. I'm gonna be in the shop in the flagship store every single day. I was there every day from the beginning of the year for 2 months, right? January, Feb, every day, 7 days a week. Just going ham, going whatever little money I got, I bought some merch, I resold it again for more merch. And our online store was messed up at the time, but I remember, if you recall, so we didn't have online store
Ah,
money. We didn't have
yeah,
no money
yeah.
coming in. All the money we had was from our shop, bro, from our physical shop. So I was just going ham, trying to sell, right? And that's when you know what are you really made of, right? Like when you're at the edge, when you're about to fall
Are
off.
you gonna
What?
give up?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Are
yeah,
you
yeah,
like I
yeah.
could have been, you know? And I had that moment. So
Yeah,
when COVID came, and I remember this day, March, right? March 28th, right? The day that New York City went into the lockdown, and I had to close the gate. I closed the shop, and I looked at the shop, and I said, you know what? I think this is it. This is it. You know, pandemic is just happened. The shop is closed. Our technically our only form of revenue at the time. So
yeah.
the
It's the website. Yeah,
physical shop is closed. The online was already closed. The second shop closed. The rent is due. This and that. And I'm like, I'm done. That's it. You know, and I went home, and it's just like, you know, you have two choices, right? Either you dwell and give up and just like, damn, I don't know what to do, or you, even though you was already on 100, you pick it up to 125. You know what I mean? You pick it up to
sure, sure,
150,
sure.
and
100%. And
and
I
and
think I think every entrepreneur gets there. Every
mhm.
single entrepreneur.
Yeah,
Some get there much earlier. What I believe is most people don't become entrepreneurs because they give up at that first one, the first
mhm.
early one, which is like, not that bad, but it happens early, right? So of course, anyone has any questions, ask the questions right now. But
Yes,
right. So the idea though is you got to get used to that pain in a way, right? You got to get comfortable with it because it's going to keep happening. The bigger you get, the
yeah.
bigger those punches in the face become, you know?
Facts. Yeah, that's a fact, man. That's a fact. And you think it's gonna get easier? I'm like, oh, I think it's gonna. Nope.
No,
Harder. It's gonna get. It's
every
more
level,
time, more
it's a
busy.
bigger person
But
about to
but
punch
you
you in the
gotta
face.
love it. You gotta love the journey. You gotta love the struggle, man. You know, of course, when you're in that position, you're not well, right? You're like, nah, this is. But there's a part of me that is just like, yes, yes, give me that challenge, bro.
Yeah, I want
I'm gonna
all the
kill
smoke.
this. You know, I see the light in the end of the tunnel. No matter what I'm going through, I know I'm gonna get through this because I'm not gonna sleep until I get through it, and that's a fact, bro. If you really are passionate about something and you're really on it, you're gonna do it because you're not gonna stop until you get there. You know what I mean? You're gonna put everything you have, bro. I sold all my sneakers. I went to the pawn shop, all my jewelry, all my stuff, pawn shop, bro. I was a bum.
That's all
I
in,
was a
all
bum,
in.
bro. I was not well, but in that whole month from March 28th to, I remember, Cinco de Mayo, right? So that whole month of April, it was a blur for me. It was just me, just like not sleeping, right? I'm gonna be honest, you
Stress,
know, doing
stress.
some stuff, this and that. I was, I was on survival mode. I was like,
No
yo,
doubt, no doubt.
whatever it takes, I'm gonna do whatever. I made phone calls that I wasn't, I was like, damn, am I really doing this? Yes.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
gonna
yeah.
ask. I'm gonna look dumb. I'm gonna look like a corny, but I'm gonna do it, right? Because I'm
You want
not.
to
This is
survive.
not gonna be the end for me. And what happened was that, and we're trying to apply to the PPP, to all of this and that. What happened in the end of April was that ABC reached out to us and did a story on us about the coronavirus, right? How we closed our business, how we're struggling, and the story came out, right? And it was God sent in a way. It was just kind of God sent, right? And it said, Bronx Native in danger of closing because of the pandemic, blah blah blah. And I was like, wow, And then after that, I said, because I've always had, GoFundMe and like your funding from the community is always like last in my mind, because when it comes to money, it's just, it's a touchy subject, right? Everyone needs money. Everyone's going through a
Mm-hmm,
tough
mm-hmm,
time.
mm-hmm.
Um, so it's always hard for me to ask for money like that, right? But when that article came out, it kind of just gave me that. I was already on the edge. Like I said, we owed the rents for both
Months.
spots.
Yeah,
To be
yeah.
honest, the
Ooh,
shops, yeah, owed the rent, bro. The shops were closed, not making any money. The online was closed, not making any money, right? Um,
perfect
but
storm.
actually, I forgot I forgot one of the points, and that's very important, right? Um, when the shop closed, I connected with somebody who had a basement available around the area, right? And I told them, hey, bro, I can't be in the shop right now. Is there a possibility if, and I started working with him, and I said, if there's a possibility if I can bring all the merch, we didn't have much merch in the shop, but can we bring it to his basement and create like a Bronx Native fulfillment center and just kind of relaunch the online again, right? Because we needed income. We had nothing coming in. We owed mad money. So we lit step by step, bro. We started bringing it to his basement, started putting this, started brainstorming ideas, and we started building up the online, and that was the only thing, right? And I think that's one of the greatest things that came out of this was that um it's extremely hard to manage an online store, especially when you're getting a certain amount of sales and customers, right? So we were always struggling with that. You already know our struggle. But we were able to step back and really focus on our online store and really make that as powerful as we can, right? So, and that's what we did throughout the whole April, right? So that was good for us. But let me get back to the ABC. So when the ABC came out, I said, I think it's time to do the GoFundMe, right? We were on the edge. We had no money, no nothing. And we were scared because we didn't think we were going to get none of the funding from the city,
Your
from the
PPP.
PPP.
Yeah.
I was already trying to apply for a whole month, trying to do it, and I didn't get anything. So I said, you know what? I got to do the GoFundMe. So we did the GoFundMe. It was called Save the Bronx Native Shop. And incredible amount of love, amount of support from not only the community, from the world, man, from all of our followers. And I think that was one of the most, I mean, that whole experience has been a very humbling experience, but that was like, wow, dude, like these people, like for somebody to give you money, it's just,
During
I
a
think it's the it,
pandemic, no doubt, no
because
doubt.
somebody could show love, somebody could like your post, comment, but when somebody gives you money, I think that's a higher, that's like the next level of support. It's like, yo,
The
they love
highest
you so
level.
much, they support you so much, they're willing to take from their pocket. That's not easy. That's not easy. So we made about 11 plus K on the GoFundMe, which was incredible. We made another, for the most part, another like 10K through online sales. The online went crazy. The most sales we've had, it was
Ever.
hundreds of sales, people online. So like altogether was like a good 20K, around 20K, 20 plus K that we made from the community alone, from the people, right? From us on our social media. And I went ham with the marketing for the
No, no.
GoFundMe. I made a parody video. I made like a parody music video trying to promote it. I did skits where I went with the poster, like Save the Bronx Native Shop, and it worked, right? New York One posted me the video of me with the thing.
On the roof, right?
News
Yeah,
12,
yeah, yeah.
Bronx Snap, the politicians started hitting me up, and we got all of this traction, and it was a vibe, and we became, in a way, activists for small businesses through these times, right? How can small businesses
Survive.
survive through these times? And we became kind of like that poster business, like, yo, look at Bronx Native. They're going through this tough time, but they're still working. The community's there, this and that. And it was pretty interesting, man. It was a chapter in the journey of Bronx Native that a very impactful, not, for me, for everybody. And we were able to, and then eventually, we were doing a story. And another thing, one of my partners, Josue, actually caught coronavirus, right? So he had coronavirus, survived it. He was on an 11-day coma,
Oh
came back.
wow! I didn't
Yeah,
know he was on a.
Josue. He
Whoa.
was in an 11-day coma during all of this, bro. During everything, April, and this is the month
Oh
of
man!
April.
So he was like really close to. Oh my
Yep.
god!
So he came back. That was another thing, right? That got picked up. It was like, yo, Bronx Native. We were not only in the verge of like ending the business, but also like ending
One
the
of the
life of our
partners
partner.
actually.
You know. So
Wow.
that was another added thing. Another thing is that, I don't know if you know, but my father passed away also from COVID. You know what I mean?
I didn't
Yes.
know that.
Yes,
Oh
indeed,
man!
Brody.
So
So
sorry for your loss.
thank you, bro. Appreciate it. So it
Oh
was just like,
man!
it was hits from everything, right? It was financially, emotionally, personally, right? Just the mental of like quarantine, the media, this and that.
Yeah.
It was not a good time. It was not a good time. But I always saw the light in the end of the tunnel. You know what I mean? I said, look, best believe I'm not going through this struggle. Best believe I am not going to be putting all of this blood, sweat, and
Mhm.
tears, and I'm not going to get my blessings in the end, right? That's not. I'm here to work and I'm here to win, bro. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And nothing's going to stop that. So what happened was that we were doing a story with NBC, right? And the thing is that they started to tie everything together, right? Bronx Native, the partner of Bronx Native had COVID, he was about to literally pass away. The death in the family, the PPP, right? The thing that the
Oh
Bronx
my
didn't get, the
god!
Bronx only got 1% funding out of all the money.
Yup, I remember that.
So it was like everything was all together. The GoFundMe, the this and that. Um, and we eventually got the PPP, Brody. We got it through PayPal. That eventually. So basically, we went through this very tough time, but we didn't stop. We did not give up. Even though it was times that it was like, yo, I didn't even want. I remember I didn't even want to get up in the morning. Right? I was like, I don't want to get up. I don't want to go through this, right? But we did it, got up every day, and made it happen. And because of the community, because of everything, we were able to come back stronger, better than ever. We closed the second shop. We stood with our flagship store, and we said,
Double
you know what,
down on online.
we're just gonna focus on two things: our online store and our flagship store. That's it.
Sure.
Events right now, stop that. This that wasn't going really, stop that. We are gonna prioritize. We're gonna do the things that are gonna get us to that space, right? And I actually got some good news for you that I want to mention later on. If you have any, I mean,
Sure. Sure.
we have like what, like 10 more
10 more minutes.
minutes.
10 more minutes. Go ahead, go ahead.
So go. I mean, that's basically the story. I mean, it's,
No, that's
summarized. But
man.
yeah,
That I'm sorry. I didn't even know. I'm a bad friend for not knowing all of
all
that.
good, all good, buddy, all
we
good.
we
Yeah.
all everyone is dealing with craziness, but to see a story like yours and still the survival, that is, man, that's epic, man. Congrats to you, and
Thank
also
you.
my condolence. I know that's crazy, you know. And I believe you survived because of the community. I honestly believe that. Not only the stories probably came because of the community
Yeah.
connection, right?
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
it
They
was
did.
so
Yeah.
important for you to build that.
Fact, bro. Listen. I could pinpoint where all the stories came. The NBC, the Lip Bar, Noel from the Lip Bar connected us. So that's community right there. Boom, boom, boom.
Hmm.
Um, News 12, you already know we're cool with the peeps over there. Boom, boom.
Hmm.
New York 1, she's from the Bronx. She from the
Yep, yep,
community.
yep, yep.
We were on AM New York, also from the community, from the Bronx. Put us on ABC. The dude who put us on, one of our customers that comes to the shop. So
Nice.
literally everything, all the media's attention, all community, the
All community.
GoFundMe community, customers for them, it's community. And that's why I'm eternally grateful, thankful to them. Like I don't even have words. It's just like
But something you also said during all of this is the story. Still, even the story of you trying to survive this pandemic, that's part of why these news organizations were willing to tell your story, right? News organizations tell stories. You had a very interesting story at a crazy time, a feel-good story with some not feel good, but that's what they want. They want stuff where it's gonna tug at the heartstrings, but it's
Yeah.
still a good ending, right? It's kind of like any Disney movie, right? So you're in your happy ending right now,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah,
like,
yeah.
at the end of the day, man, kudos to you for surviving, first
Thank
of
you,
all.
buddy. Yeah.
And I really want to see where you go from here, the next step. So what were you gonna say? What was the last thing that
Bro,
you
next steps. You already know I've been trying to get my own printing machines, bro. You already know I've been trying to do this for a minute. Bro, right now, and I'm just going to summarize it. We'll talk later on. We got a space on Canal Place, not a commercial space, not doing that again. We have a small 300 square feet studio right here on Canal Place. One of those buildings that are like all
Yep.
raggedy and whatever, but they have like studios in there for artists.
Oh
Cheap
yeah, yeah.
rent, cheap rent, cheap everything. Oh, right next to it's near the Knowledge House, I believe. But we're gonna get the equipment, Brody. We're fixing up the space. We're gonna start printing our own stuff, eliminating the middleman.
All
Bringing up
right.
our profits. I'm done. I'm done. Depending on other peeps, on other
So
printers, on
so
other
so real
stuff.
quick business
Yeah.
lesson, just to what you're saying, because many people don't know the thousands of conversations me and you had. Basically, what he's saying is he was dependent on other printers
Yeah.
to make his merch, right? So if you owe a printer, they're not going to make you more. So one problem he had was certain shirts were flying off the shelves, certain weren't, right? So he had to make more, but the printer hadn't been paid back for the other ones. So he had this struggle of how can he move product. So now that he can control his own distribution in a way
Yeah.
and production, it will help him profit more on every shirt and not have to deal with situations like that. So you start
Yeah.
out and you got to build through it.
Yeah, and I think that's what we should have done instead of going into the second shop, second commercial space. But we should have always just been like, okay, focus on our flagship and get a space, second floor, no one bother you, making shirts,
Pump them out,
right? Time, it's gonna save us in time, everything, money, blah blah blah. So right now, best believe by 2021, we should be ready, not only printing our stuff, but also printing for clientele, right? So for the community, we want to also host
Nice.
workshops. We want to bring kids in, teach them how to screen print.
So there you go. There you go. So we're gonna have a partnership with MetaBronx right
Yeah,
here. It's happening
yeah,
live.
facts. Let's
All
do
these
it.
young people that want to create their online stores, now we're gonna connect with Amaudi's, the Bronx
Let's do it.
Native, to help you do that.
Yeah.
All right. So any final advice to a teenager in high school right now who's watching? There's going to be at least 325 of them that watch this.
Lit.
What advice would you give them right now to start heading towards a path towards creating their own brand?
First of all, you guys are teenagers. You guys are in high school. Definitely, enjoy your life. You only have one.
No. Start your business.
Because I could be like, yo, stop. What I really want to say is, yo, stop the games.
That's what I tell them every day. I fired
Put your
all of
big
them.
boy pants and get to work. Start your business now and chill later. You know what I mean? But do your thing. Like I said, everyone's different. Everyone has their own pace. Everyone has their own journey, right? But you guys are the future, right? We're living in the best time to be alive. We have so many resources that we can use right now. You don't even have to leave your house, right? When you look at, even all those gamers out there, we're looking out into gaming and stuff. All these games, bro, there's people making thousands of millions of dollars streaming through Twitch, doing this. I heard Sony just put out a program that allows you to even create your own video games. There's so many opportunities out there, right? Time is your biggest asset. You know what I mean? Take that. Do not waste time. If you can do it now, do it. If you can do it right now, tomorrow, do it now. Do it tomorrow. Don't be like, oh, I have an idea. I'll do it later. I'll do it tomorrow. 3 years later, oh, now you have a job. Now you have a family. Now you have I can't do it, bruh. You guys have the time. You guys are smart. You guys got it, bro. You guys got us. Me. Hit me up anytime. Miguel, MetaBronx. Let's make it happen. We are the future. We are people.
I did not tell him to say this. It's gonna. You basically sound like a recording of what I say every day.
That's awesome.
But it's so true. It's so true. You see someone living through it in the toughest, probably one of the toughest times in history, pretty much, right? Definitely within our lifetimes, right?
Yeah,
so it's definitely doable. Hopefully you watch this and start moving towards your goal. Thank you, Amaudi's Bronx Native. Go definitely check out the Bronx Native shop, buy a shirt or a hat, whatever, or a mask.
Mask. Yeah.
And definitely we'll be in touch. You know we're gonna be talking.
Let me know. Hit me up anytime. You're in Another Vibes, guys. Thank you so much. Hit us up at the Bronx Native on all social media platforms. Come by the you already. We here to help. And Brody, we'll chat soon. Thank you so much for everything. All right.
Good stuff. All right.
Take care, bud.
All right. So if you are still watching, on the description below, I got 3 steps on how you can start your brand, right? So first thing you need to do is think about the story and the community. And once you kind of have a name and an idea, there's 3 links below of how you can start the process. I'm going to be creating more videos where I literally walk you step by step, but especially for the young people in the Bronx, in the MetaBronx community, I'm going to take you step by step, but you got to have a starting point, right? We got to have a name. You got to have a community. So thank you for watching. If anybody's still watching, please like, subscribe to the channel, and thank you. Have a great weekend and stay innovative. Thank you.